I don't choose to be uncomfortable. Reality has made me uncomfortable.
Houses destroyed, businesses destroyed. You know, yeah, we resilient, we rebuild. You know, it seemed like it was easy for me to move my business within a month, and I feel like I was destroyed. You know, so I can just imagine how they felt.
Our country may forget this history, but I cannot. I am a 107-year-old and have never seen justice. I pray that one day I will.
We aren't just black and white pictures on a screen. I was there when it happened. I'm still here.
I am asking you today to give us some peace. Please give me, my family, and my community some justice.
That was a clip from the new documentary Blood on Black Wall Street, the legacy of the Tulsa race massacre, examining the traumatic impact of the 1921 tragedy. Today marks 100 years since white mobs terrorized the predominantly black town of Greenwood, killing an estimated 300 people and burning down the thriving business community known as the Black Wall Street. The riot began after armed members of the black community attempted to prevent the lynching of a young man accused of assaulting a white woman. President Biden is expected to visit the city tomorrow. We're going to get to Trymaine Lee live in Tulsa in just a moment. But first, Eddie Glaude, why is it important to remember this today and also to put it into context as we address the struggles today?
Well, Meek, I think it's important because we're trying to imagine who we are, who we aspire to be. It seems to me to connect with how Joe opened the show. If we're going to assert that Americans are one, we're one nation, we're going to have to confront this ugliness. We're going to have to confront the incompleteness, the injustice of our failure to respond to it. 107-year-old woman has never received justice. They wiped out generations of wealth in 48 hours. So it seems to me that this is not a matter of wallowing in guilt. It's not a matter of self-flagellation. It's a matter of confronting the truth so that we might release ourselves as a country into a new way of being together. So to go back to what Joe said at the beginning of the show, if we are one America, we have to tell the truth about what we've done in order to release ourselves into the future of actually being a unified country.
Let's go to Trymaine Lee, live in Tulsa right now. His documentary aired on MSNBC last night. Trymaine, how will the city be remembering this today?
Good morning, Mika. For the last few days, this community has been coming together in fellowship because the ache of what happened 100 years ago, which began 100 years ago today, is still being felt in the hearts of those in this community because they dealt with the violence of that day, but then the violence of the economic dispossession that followed, the violence of urban renewal, and now the violence of gentrification. And so 100 years later, this community is most desperately looking to be made whole, not just for the financial aspect, but also there's a sense of trauma that has been inherited where wealth was denied. And so this community has come together on this commemoration to remember what happened, but also try to center their narrative, right, and make sure that they're pushing the ball forward and hopefully, finally, that they may be made whole. There are people in this community who are calling for reparations, and those calls are most certainly getting louder, even though you know, it's certainly politically divisive in this community still. But this community is coming together to remember what happened.
Eddie Glaude, jump in.
Trymaine, it's great to see you this morning. Let me ask you this question about the 100th anniversary of Tulsa and our contemporary moment. No one was really held to account for 300 dead, over 300 dead, 10,000 people displaced, homeless. What do you make of the relationship between not holding white rage accountable 100 years ago and not holding white rage accountable on January 6th? Kind of connect these two moments, this anniversary and the current political reality.
Well, certainly the psychic pangs of that kind of dynamic that you're talking about are still being felt, where people had to live in proximity with those who tried to murder them and stole their wealth. And you think about January 6th, this kind of sanctioned violence, and we think about what happened on May 31st and June 1st of 1921. The white community was deputized by law enforcement. They literally dropped bombs from the sky. And again, no one being held to account. That sent a loud and clear message that the state was not only not there to protect black bodies, but was there to weaponize whiteness, to weaponize the racism. And so when you think about that violence of January 6th and how that mob was allowed to push its way into the citadel of democracy, and you think about the way the mobs here in 1921 pushed into the black community, the citadel of black prosperity, 35 blocks, 12 miles of Greenwood Avenue with hundreds of black-owned businesses, theaters and beauty salons and barbershops all up in flames in an instant, right? And so I think there is a clear connect, and I think that's not lost on any of the folks here in this community, Eddie.
Trymaine Lee, thank you very, very much for being on this morning. And